Origin Unexplained.
There are moments where the world feels predictable, and then there are moments that rip that illusion apart and remind you that reality is far stranger than we were ever taught. That is the tone of tonight's episode. This is a collection of hard-hitting, mind-bending facts that each carry their own shock value. Some belong to science, some to history, some to deep space, some to the hidden corners of our own planet. Every one of them forces a second look by far at what we think we know. One of the most striking examples comes from the ocean. There is a species of jellyfish, Turritopsis dohrnii, that can biologically revert itself to a younger state. When threatened or injured, it resets itself back to its earliest form, essentially restarting its life cycle. It is not mythology and it is not fiction. It's a living creature on this planet that figured out biological immortality before humans even discovered fire. Another fact takes us to the edge of the universe. Astronomers have identified a region called the Eridanus supervoid, a cold, dark expanse over 1 billion light years wide. Its sheer size should be impossible, so some physicists believe that it might be evidence of another universe briefly touching ours, leaving a bruise in the cosmic background. Radiation. If that is true, then we are not looking at empty space. We are looking at the fingerprint of another reality. Researchers discovered a hidden ocean trapped deep below the Earth's surface. It's not a myth or a theory. The water is locked inside a mineral layer called ringwoodite, and there is enough of it to fill Earth's ocean several times over. The irony is that humanity spent centuries looking for oceans on other planets while overlooking the one that exists beneath our own feet. Biology brings another shock with the octopus. Its nervous system is so alien that neuroscientists admit that they do not fully understand how it thinks. 2/3 of an octopus's neurons are located in its arms, meaning each arm can act with a degree of independent intelligence. It is as if the creature has that many brains, one central brain and 8 semi-autonomous ones. When you touch an octopus's arm, the arm itself decides how to react before the brain even processes it. The next one is geological and nearly unbelievable. Scientists confirm that Earth has a heartbeat, a cycle of massive geological activity that pulses roughly every 27 million years. During these pulses, the planet experiences clustered extinctions, volcanic eruptions, and continental shifts. The Earth is not a silent rock. It has a rhythm, a long, slow pulse that shapes the rise and fall of life itself. History provides its own jaw-droppers. In the 1960s, the United States government planned an operation called Project A-119. The goal was to detonate a nuclear device on the moon just to show the Soviet Union that America could do it. Would have been visible from Earth. They genuinely considered turning the moon into a spectacle of nuclear fireworks to prove a geopolitical point. The only reason it never happened was because a few scientists argued that it was a bad idea. That is how close the world came to seeing a mushroom cloud rise over the lunar surface. Another fact comes from the human evolution. There is a genetic mutation called the CCR5 Delta 32 allele that grants resistance to certain deadly viruses. It appears suddenly in European populations about 1,000 years ago with no clear explanation at all. The mutation is so unusual that some researchers believe it might have come from a single survivor of an ancient biological event. One immune individual whose bloodline carried forward a genetic shield, a piece of survival encoded into the DNA of millions. Then there is the deep-sea mystery of the bloop. In 1997, underwater sensors recorded a sound so powerful it could be heard across the entire Pacific Ocean. It was louder than any whale ever recorded, louder than any submarine, and its origin remains unknown. The official explanation claims ice cracking, but the acoustic signature did not match any known ice event. It was organic. Something made that sound, and whatever it made, it was enormous. The human body hides some of the most shocking truths of all. One of the most overlooked is that your heart produces its own electrical impulse and does not need your brain to beat. If you removed it and kept it in a controlled environment with nutrients and oxygen, it would continue to beat on its own. The heart carries an independent electrical system powerful enough to override the silence of the brain. In a world where people assume consciousness controls everything, the body quietly proves otherwise. Your bones are another revelation. Many people assume bones are static, rigid structures, but they are some of the most active, dynamic organs you have. Every decade, the entire skeletal system is replaced as your bones dissolve and rebuild themselves molecule by molecule. You are literally not walking around with the same bones you had 10 years ago. The structure holding you together is a constant, quiet construction project your body never stops managing. Even your eyes carry a strange truth. The only reason you can see the world is because your brain is stitching together two incomplete images from your retinas and filling in the blind spots with guesses. You are not seeing the world as it is. You are seeing a hallucination that your brain has edited, corrected, and smoothed over. The sharp, stable world you believe you perceive is largely manufactured product of the brain doing its best improvisation. Taste is another area people underestimate. The human tongue can detect a taste at a concentration of 1 part per 2 million. That means 1 drop of a bitter substance in an Olympic-sized swimming pool is enough for your taste receptors to catch. Taste buds are not simple sensors. They are some of the most sensitive biological instruments on the earth. Even something as automatic as breath holding holds a twist. When you inhale, the lungs do not inflate because of muscular force in the lungs themselves. Your diaphragm creates a vacuum that literally pulls the air into you. Breathing is not the lungs doing work. It is the atmosphere rushing inside because you momentarily created a pressure drop. You are constantly pulling the outside world into your body in a way that is far more mechanical than people realize. Everyday behavior carries its own surprises. When you walk into a room and forget why you went there, it is not stupidity or distraction. It is something called the doorway effect. Yes. Really pay attention, guys. Your brain automatically resets its short-term memory markers every time you pass through a doorway because it assumes you are entering a new scenario. Simple architectural feature can disrupt your cognitive flow on command, and your brain willingly participates. Everyday life has its own hidden tricks. Yes, it does. When you start paying attention to the details hidden inside your everyday life, you begin to realize that the world is not ordinary at all. And if you're that narcissistic to believe it is, then you have a big problem. It is layered. It is engineered with biological shortcuts, evolutionary leftovers, sensory illusions, and mechanical processes that most people never slow down long enough to see. The human body is a machine that rewrites itself, repairs itself, resets itself, and even deceives itself to keep you functioning. Yes, the ordinary is never truly ordinary once you understand the mechanisms underneath it. That is the entire point of exploring these facts. They are reminders that the familiar world is full of strange architecture and that nothing about being human is as simple as it looks on the surface. Time for some bloopers.
Time for the bloopers.
Mirandus. Bloody hell, go back to another fact. Another massive geological activity that pulses rustly. Jesus, go back to the beginning. The next. Every decade, you're closer to home. Scratch that. Go back to every decade. Every decade, essence generated by cellular. Just scratch all that about that. World into your body in a way that is far more mechanical. Go back to far more. This is Origin Unexplained. If you have a story that you would like told or you would like to tell your own, email us at originunexplained@gmail.com.
Origin Unexplained.